Hello guys, good afternoon. So this is the recording for session number 30, 33. I don't know. Yeah, session number 33. We're about to finish. We're going to continue. This is going to be the recording for today's session. We're not going to have a live synchronic session for today's. So we're only going to have the recordings, and you're also going to have another. We're going to see the Alice Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll, right? So you're gonna find two videos. This one is, I want to record this video because like I've got a lot of questions about the project. Mister, am I doing okay in here? Am I doing fine with the project? I still have a couple of questions. So I decided like that I wanted to clarify everything and help you out with the development of the exhibit outline, all right? So we have it clear, we're in the same symphony, and we develop a nice work. So I'm gonna start sharing my screen, and if you get any questions based on the information that I'm presenting today and in this video, like you can perfectly reach me at any time during office hours, please, because one more time, you reach me when I cannot reply, guys, because it's whether it's on Sunday, whether like I'm doing like other stuff, or whether I'm living my life, guys. So please be careful with the timing. I'll be glad to reply to you ASAP. All right. So if you have any question during class time, I'll be there for you to reply any of your doubts. Hopefully this presentation is going to help you out with a better understanding of what I like, what I'm looking for in the exhibition. All right, so planning my exhibition. So this presentation is going to help you to have like the outline. Do you have to present it? Do you have to create it in a PowerPoint presentation? Not necessarily. You can actually do it in a Word document. And these are the summary of the things that I asked for in the previous session, right? So you were supposed to work on this. So if you still haven't figured it out, so I'm gonna help you out and with this one, right? This space for the homework, not the homework, for the activity, for the task is already available. It's gonna be available the whole day. Yeah. So if you have already developed a different format, upload it, and then throughout the week, we can change it, we can adapt it, and make sure you have the elements that I'm asking for. So I'm going to develop one by one so you have a clear idea. I'm going to give you a lot of examples so you can, like from the examples, start from there and then build your own proposal. When you think about the title of the exhibition, I already told you that you can have the name of the period, right? But you can make it more interesting. I'm sorry for that. Probably you're not gonna listen to it, but it's kind of like irritating sometimes when you have the beat from there. Anyways, coming back, the title of the exhibition. How are you going to develop? What are you supposed to develop in the title? So I'm gonna give you a couple of examples in here. You can include you can perfectly leave it as the name of the period. You can make it more attractive, I was mentioning, by introducing some other elements to the title. The first one is you can, for example, I'm gonna take the Romantic period. You can write a title as this one, the Romantic period highlights of British literature, and this is an opportunity to have like by the title that you're going to have the highlights of this period. You can be more provocative with the title by using the good, the bad, the ugly of the Romantic period. You can explore a more literary perspective of the title by saying the stories of the Romantic period and their creators. So you're pretty much saying that you're going to explore the stories and as well as the creators or the main guys, like the writers. You can also write something like, for example, the Romantic period is darker than you think, because remember that like part of the dark romanticism is part of it. So it's something that you might not think of it. Like for somebody that doesn't know, that doesn't study or haven't studied literature, you may think the romantic period or the romanticism is all about love, but actually there is a darker part of it. So you can be, you can set a provocative title and develop the whole idea of your exhibition by doing the romantic period is darker than you think. And then you start developing the idea and the whole exhibition. And this is just an example, and you can use like this kind of like trend for your titles of the exhibition. And you can see how I incorporated the period, but I make it like more quite interesting. Like, you know. All right, we're gonna move on, and we're gonna have like the central idea or question. This is something that, and I'm going to give you an example here. This is like your thesis statement. Remember that I told you previous time that the central idea or a question is like when you're writing a paper and you're writing an essay, for example, you're writing the thesis statement. What is this going to be about? And I'm going to give you some examples of some of the things that you might develop. I'm still gonna grab the example of the romantic period, but you can apply it to any of the periods that I assigned you. The first one, you can say the influence, or you can say the impact, or you can say the relevance, or you can say the variety, or you can say the variations or explorations of romantic elements for the development of British literature. Simple like that. You can say the influence of romantic elements for the development of British literature, or the impact of romantic elements for the development of British literature, or the relevance of the romantic elements for the development of the British, and so on, right? You got the idea. Another way of doing it is by stating, by asking a question, a rhetorical question. For example, the example that I have here is romanticism limited to, and then in here, there's a blank space that you can actually fill by, is the romanticism limited to a specific author, and a specific movement, and a specific feeling, and a specific theme, you know? Oh, you develop the idea. Another thing is the dark side of the romantic period, and then you start developing the dark romanticism. Or you can say something like, being there during the romantic period was not as lovely as you think. These are just examples of, and then you're going to explore more of the social aspect, more of the cultural aspect, more of the upheavals, more of the civil wars, more of the monarchy, more of the, you know. So these are like some examples of how you can build your central idea, and you can write it down in the Word document, right? I'm just giving you examples. The brief description of the literary period is pretty much it is what it is. So the Romantic period, for example, the Restoration period, the Renaissance period, the Victorian period, it started from this to this, you know, from this time to this time. It deals with this, this, and this. And it has to be a short description of the literary period, right? Or if you're doing like the development of the thesis, like the one that the central idea, so you can say, so the dark side of romanticism, and then you start like the explaining about dark romanticism, or how the romantic period is divided into a branch that is the dark romanticism, and how this is important because you don't get to explore a little bit more, and it might be confusing for some people because of this, and this aspect, right? The most significant writers of these periods are this and this writer. Some of the highlights of the literary productions are this, and this. Some of the social, cultural, historical movements, events are this, and this, right? And that's a brief description. It needs to be like a paragraph, 5 lines, 6 lines, no more than 10 lines, right? That's the brief description. So, because it's gonna help you, like, you know, like, remember that in the video is gonna be 5 minutes to 10 minutes video, so you need to be brief. You need to be right to the point. And then I want you to add, probably you haven't developed this one, but it's the brief description of the exhibition. The previous one was the brief description of the literary period, but I want you to also develop a brief description of the exhibition, which is helpful to write a brief description of your exhibition. The description can be used in brochures or websites, blogs, in the case of the sites, right? Other publicity in venues, and can also appear on a poster. This is very used for any kind of exhibition. And then I'm gonna show you an example in here. So for example, I have the description of the exhibition, which is not the description of the literary period, which are two things. This one is about the specific period that I already assigned you, that you're working on, that you're researching on, that you're like finding like documents and stuff, right? Pictures and everything. The description of the exhibition, it's, as I said before, should only be 2 or 3 sentences long, not more 5 sentences long, and articulate the main idea of the exhibition and why it's important or interesting. For example, in this one, it says organized by, this is an example of the exhibition, the description of the exhibition, organized by the 5th-year students, for example, the British literature course at Univo. It features 10 pictures, 4 videos, and these pieces of collections and handcraft. I don't know, the pieces that you are going to develop. So I'm gonna give you an example in here and you can work it out. I'm going to give you another example. For example, it says, in Running the Numbered, artist Chris Jordan creates intriguing photographic prints assembled from thousands of smaller photographs, visually depicting statistics that dramatize aspects of contemporary American culture. Right? So this is the description of the exhibition. So you're going to, think about the description of the exhibition like you're selling a product. What do you want to sell to the people? Why is it like interesting? Why is it intriguing? Why is it worth watching? Why is it worth evaluating, reviewing, or paying attention to what you're saying? So this is like the way in your elevator pitch, like in 3 sentences, the way you sell your exhibition. All right, I'll also have another example. It's a presenting contemporary art, historical books, photographs, charts, and scientific visualizations. This exhibition considers the powerful role of vision and the visual in exploring celestial realms. Artists and scientists seeking truth beyond the visible and tangible offer fresh perspectives and so on and so on, right? So in this part, as you can see in this example, a specific example, you're mentioning what are the elements, the objects you're gonna present in your exhibition. What are the elements that you're gonna find in your exhibition, in the video that you're going to record? What are the objects, pictures, data that you are presenting about any specific topic, right? In this case, a literary period of British literature. All right, so once you have the description of the exhibition, and I already give you the examples, you're gonna have the group labels. So what are the group labels? Because sometimes you get a little bit confused, and most of the questions that you already asked me are like pretty much on this line of, Mr. But the group labels are what? You can call it sections if it's if it's easier for you to like process the way. Or group labels inform visitors of the rationale behind the subgrouping of objects, paintings, or animals, or books, or any kind of topic. What are the things shown together? It's a common question in the back of visitors' mind. So think about like your audience why is this piece with this element, with this object? Because they're all put together and they belong to a section that is part of your exhibition. I'm going to give you an example just to you know, like to make it clear of how it actually works, right? So sections in here are groupings of objects. You can say in your outline, you can write it down and you say, okay, mister, in section number 1, we're gonna talk about authors. In section number 2, we're gonna talk about literary. Section number 3 is going to be all about art forms. In section number 4, we're gonna have like culture and society. I don't want you to go crazy with the numbers of sections because it's gonna demand like more objects for you to present. What I want you is quality and not quantity. So if you have like 1, 2, 3 sections that represent the whole period, that's gonna be fine. Or you can emphasize on a specific thing, right? Or you can actually change the section for here and say, oh, during this period, you have the theme of the interaction of life and death, love and hate, you know, like the rich and the poor. And you can work on this is going to depend on you guys. I'm sorry for that. One more time. So this is how you are going to deliver your sections. And I'm going to add an example in here. It's, for example, in a presentation about like, this one is democracy, and then you can develop the script on working on the section. For example, when you're recording, when you're preparing your speech, what you're gonna say in the video, and we have the section of the democracy. And what I understand from democracy is that I'm going to develop all the aspects that are involved in it, or the people who influence democracy. Where does democracy come from? What are the elements that democracy considers? Why is democracy relevant? And then you start developing a script that is going to help you actually to develop the whole idea, right? So in the speech, you have like something that, for example, the art of the 1980s was shaped profoundly by an exploration of democracy. And you can start your speech like that. Although it is an ideal held sacred by many, democracy is also challenging. For at its core, it asks us to respect and protect the rights of those we disagree with. And then you start developing your idea. So this is going to be an example of how you can introduce the sections you're going to have in the video. So in here, I'm going to give you an example of how in the video, when you're recording, you're going to introduce the sections. How you can outline the sections like this, section number 1. It doesn't have to be like that complicated, guys. Don't over stress on this. The option captions are specific labels for a specific object. So artifacts, photos, and phenomena. They are commonly used in all types of museum exhibitions. Captions are the front line form of interpretative labels because many visitors, for example, if you have gone like to or you have visited any exhibition or museum, you see the description, right? So, and then you have the title, the introduction, the section label. I'm going to give you an example in here. I'm going to use the same sections as I previously showed you in here, just following an example. And I'm going to develop the outline as I wish you develop it. You're going to have section number 1 is going to be about authors. So you're going to say, okay, section number 1 is going to be about authors. So I'm going to talk about the objects that I'm going to present, or the labels are author A, author B, author C. In the section number 2, for example, that it's all about like literary productions, it's book A, B, and C, poem A, B, and C, ballad A, B, and C. You write it down, right? Section number 3 is all about art forms. Paintings A, sculpture B, design. And then you can find another music, another forms of art, art forms. Section number 4 will be my example, culture in society. So in culture in society, in the option, the label number 1 is going to be dress code, but I'm going to talk about the Civil War. And then I'm going to talk about technology, education, language evolution. And that's gonna be part of my exhibition for the section, the elements of the section for my exhibition, all right? So this is how it actually is going to look like. So in the site, but also in the video, and you're going to have the element, the object, the physical object, or you're going to have like the digital object, or you're going to have the different elements, and then you're going to have the title, who is the author of this title, and then a short description, and then the credits, and that is pretty much what you need to do for each piece that you're going to introduce. Music, image, text in medieval Iberia. This is the description. All right. The credits is pretty much the sources. So all the links from the resources you're going to use. For example, picture A, so you can be this specific. We're going to use this picture from section number 1. Remember that my example is, for example, it can be a picture of the portrait of the author A, right? So you have the portrait of author A in my section of authors. And then in the credits, I'm going to say picture 1 from section 1 and the link. Audio 2 from section 2, the link. Video 3 from section 3, the link. Book number 4 from section 4, the details of the source, right? That's the section of the credits. When we talk about display concept, it's nothing but like you describing what you're going to do. You might tell me, Mr., but I still haven't figured it out. We're still developing the idea, but I want you to start thinking about it. I want you to think, because we don't have much time. So I don't want you to think on last minute what you're going to do. So this is the moment for you to brainstorm and think about, as a group, what you're going to present, what you want to like, how you want to develop your exhibition. And what I want you to do is in the section of the display concept that you're going to have in the exhibition outline that you need to deliver for this week is something like this. I want you to write it and type it and say, for section 1, authors, for example, we will use the following elements: a mosaic and a collage, for example. For section number 2, that it's about literary production, in my example, all right? This is not the way it has to be for you, right? I'm just giving you an example. I am developing the whole idea and the proposal based on my example. But in my case, like for section number 2, it's going to be literary production. And I will say, we will most likely create a 3D design, for example. You might go nuts and crazy and you have a 3D printer. I don't know, I'm just giving you like an example. And we will display a video and we will display some pictures. Remember that you already credited, right? You already link it with in this section, credits, right? And we're going to do this. For section number 3, we're going to do this. For section number 4, we're going to do this. Simple like that. Is it necessary like to kind of like present all of the elements that you deliver in the exhibition outline for this task? Ideally, yes. Not necessarily, right? But most likely, I would expect from you that you develop at least 75% from the initial idea, the initial concept. Remember that when you're creating an event, any kind of like production, like things changes and you need to like be flexible with it. And I'm going to be flexible with it. What I was mentioning before in the previous session is that I don't want you guys to improvise last minute things, right? The fact that we're developing the lab and we're developing the metering, it means that you are doing a process and you're creating something that probably you're going to do when you work at schools. You're going to create and design an event. And the principal, or if you're the principal of the institution, you are going to be required to develop events, festivals, exhibitions, museums, blah, blah, blah. So ideally you should be involved in the process because, you know, okay, so the first thing is like you brainstorm, you organize, and then you start developing the idea. The point of planning from the very beginning of the term is that you get a nice product. All right, so you might be like delivering the different tasks week by week, weekly, I might say. But if you present something that is nothing related what you introduced in the initial idea or the development of the project, at the end of the video, you present something that is not related. Trust me, I won't touch my heart to place a 1 in your midterm, all right, as a final project. So I want you to be correlated. The things that you are writing, brainstorming. So if you're saying we're going to have an elephant, think it twice, because you're not gonna get like an elephant, right? I'm just giving you extreme examples of how you are going to, or how you ideally should brainstorm your ideas right now. It's easier for us to have a mosaic, a poster, a printing. We're going to have this in this form. We're going to have some creativity, some guilindruches, como les digo, pero like with a purpose. So that's something that you might like have it, right? At the end of the video. So if you still have questions about how am I going to evaluate, one more time, I'm going to be clear with this because I don't want you to say, oh, I didn't know how am I getting evaluated for the term. So the thing is, oh, Mr. Chavarria gave me a 4 for no reason. He just randomly decided that I had 4. So one more time, I'm telling you, the lab is going to be the delivery, the deadlines, the production of the project, right? So weekly, I'm going to expect from you that you develop the elements. So for today's, group A is going to be for today. Group B is going to be for tomorrow. I'm going to give you the chance because a lot of groups have already worked on the process. I'm going to give you the chance to like submit the things that you already have, and then I'm going to evaluate it, but then we're going to change and we're going to adapt it. We're going to incorporate the elements that we're discussing right now. Because as an extra, right? Not that like, oh no, Mr. Chavarria said that we're going to have time. Yes, but I need to evaluate something from the production, the brainstorming, the ideas that you already discussed. So I want you to be clear on that. If you haven't done anything, so you still have 1 day, 2 days, depending on the group you belong, to start working on it. It's not as complicated. You just need organization, timing, and then get creative with what you want and get a concept. All right. For the script, so this is going to be the task for this week, the 3rd week. You're going to create a script, un guion. Remember that you're going to record the video. So what I want you to do is create the script. In the script, you're going to have for each piece something like this, where you're going to, and also I already gave you examples here. So you know how to write un guion. I expect from you that you learned how to do it in academic writing, 1 or 2 at some point. Entonces, cuando creas un video, so you need to script, right? Story, you're going to tell the order. For example, I'm going to have introduce the name of the exhibition, and then I'm going to introduce the presenter, and then I'm going to introduce the section, and then I'm going to introduce the whole concept. Or I'm going to ask this question, and you write a question. And then Fulanita is going to start talking about section number 1, and then it's going to present this, and she's going to say this and this and this. Carlitos is going to talk about section number 3, and then he's going to write these lines, and he's going to say this in the video. So that's what I want you to do for week number 3. That is going to be from today till next week. So I'm going to give you some templates and some examples, like for you to to know how you can actually create a script for the video. How long does the video needs to be? Needs to be approximately 5 minutes. No less than that, and no more than from 5 to 10 minutes. That's what I want you to record. And that's your final project, guys. So you have probably recorded videos that are longer than that. So you have it easier. So the only thing that you need to do is meet the deadlines. For example, you can have, this is an example of the exhibition, and you're going to have the object, the piece, probably it's a map, right? You have in your stand, you have a map, and it's the map of the island of Santo Domingo. And then you have the description in here, reproduce in the label and everything, right? And then in the script, you say in this map of Santo Domingo was created for Samuel Hazard's travel book on Española, published on March 18. In contrast to previous map that emphasized blah, 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 right? So this is my script. This is also the description, but also what I'm going to say. Or if you want to switch and you want to have questions or develop a more dramatic theme, that's going to be fine. Or you want to have a one-on-one interaction, or you want to make it like a conversation. The format of the video, it's going to be on you, on your creativity, on your team, right? It doesn't actually need to be like you in front of like camera and stuff, right? The format of the video, you actually going to decide it like in the process. That's gonna be on you guys. So, all right, so we have week number 1, the organization, you have your timing and stuff. Week number 2, we already fulfilled that deadline. And then, well, you actually have like 1 day or 2 days more. For group A, I think the deadlines for today, group B, it's gonna be tomorrow. So you need to start working on the document that it's the outline. For the script, so this is what I'm talking in here. It's about the script. And I pretty much just freaked out because I don't know if I'm recording this. Yes, I am. All right. So for the script, you're going to do for week number 3. So it's going to be from today for group A, from tomorrow for group B, till next week. So don't freak out that, oh, I need to like deliver also the script. No. If you ask me, Lig, do we have to deliver the delivery for today? I'm not going to reply because you're supposed to like watch the videos and the information is in here. All right, so pretty much that's it, guys. So I gave you how from slide number 2 to a slide number 18, it's all about the previous task, the one that is due today or due tomorrow, depending on the grade. And then I'm like giving you examples, and that can be 1 page long, guys. It's not that much. And then for the script, this is the task for group number 3. And I'm going to give you more examples on that next class. All right, start thinking about it. And if start working on a format, if you already finished the outline, start working on the script. What you want to say, how you want to say it, has going to be the format for the video, and what it's going to be first, second, next. All right. So that's going to be the next task. Thank you very much, guys. Hope you have a nice week and see you next class. All right, take care. Saben que portense bien, ¿verdad? Que nada les cuesta. Bye, bye.